Hey everyone, and welcome to Stop Motion Sensei, where we teach you how to bring your bricks to life and become a stop motion master. In this portion of the basic editing course, I'll be showing you how to edit in iMovie. This is a platform built for Apple users. iMovie is Apple's basic video editing software for everyone. The best part, it is absolutely free. It's going to be simple, and it's obviously not going to have all the professional editing tools you would expect from a Final Cut Pro 10 or an Adobe Premiere Pro. That said, creating stop motion videos in iMovie is no problem at all. It's going to handle any of the basics that we throw at it. Let's get started. The first thing we want to do is obviously open up iMovie. Now this is iMovie's icon right here, so I'm just going to click on that and it is going to open up my iMovie program. And I want to create a new project, right? So I'll click create and I want to make a movie. So we'll click movie and here is my project window. Now in the last video, we organized files so that we could import them. So the first thing we want to do when we're editing is to import the media we want in our video. Very simple to do that in iMovie. I can scroll over to here and click on import media. And I am going to click on my passport, my USB hard drive right here. That's what I'm in, and I'm already in the Silent Night folder, as you can see. So the first thing we'll do is import our pictures. So I'm going to click on scenes because this is where our pictures were, right? I'll double click on scenes and we have all of our different camera angles in the over the wall scene right here. I'm going to click on this first one and press and hold shift and click on that third one, and that's going to select all of them. You can also do Command A, Command or Control A to select all the files. Once you do that, you're going to import all down here in the bottom right. And it's going to validate your files and then it's going to process them for import. And after it does that, you will see your pictures in your iMovie program window. As we scroll up, we see that we have all of our pictures in here. There's where my first camera angle switches. And there's where my second camera angle switches. So I have all of the files I need. That's one good thing to double check. Say, yep, I have everything, all the pictures that I want. Now I also want to import some audio to show you guys how to edit with audio as well. And there's another way to import, so I'm going to show you that. If you press File up here, you can go to Import Media. You can also press Command I, or this button is going to be your import button as well. So any way you do it, that is how you can import multiple ways. We'll click on this button, and now we're back in our import window. Now we already imported all of our photos, and we're in our scenes folder. So I want audio, and I'm going to go up here to my scenes folder, and I am going to go back to Silent Night, and now here are all of our folders in our Silent Night project folder. I want sound effects. So I'm going to double click on sound effects and I will go ahead and import all of these. So let's say Command A, select them all, import all, and there is our audio in our project now. Once we have all the files we want, we can start putting our files into our timeline to make our movie. So this is the timeline window right here, and I'm going to put my pictures in. So I can grab one file and move it down here, and there is one of my pictures. The best way to do this, though, I'm going to press Command Z to undo, and I accidentally just undid my audio import. So let's go up. I want to edit, redo, add clips to event. There, my audio's back. That's a helpful tool. You can undo or redo mistakes, right? Now, if I want to add all of these at the same time, I'm going to click on this first picture, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to my last picture, press and hold Shift, and click on that last picture, and now you can see all of our files are selected. Now the nice thing is all of my camera angles are actually in the order that I want them, and I'll show you how to rearrange them later in the timeline, but for now I can just drag my photos right onto the timeline like it says. So I'm going to click on this. I got 120 photos, and I am just going to drop them right into my timeline, and now we have some video. You're going to notice that iMovie's default settings have all of your pictures on screen for 4 seconds, and they're doing this weird zoom in and zoom out thing, and that is called Ken Burns, and that is a crop setting. Now we're going to want to change the duration of each of these photos, and we're also going to want to get rid of that Ken Burns crop setting as well. There are a couple ways to do this, and I will show you how to do it. So we'll click on our first picture over here, and I'm going to select it. You can see this one's at 4 seconds. To change the duration of any individual photo, you can actually come up here to the top where it says Clip Information. If I click on that, it's going to give me my file name and the duration that that file is on screen. So to change the duration, I'm going to click on that, and I am going to put my duration at 0.1. Press enter, and that is going to change your duration to that 0.1. Now the reason I chose 0.1 is because 0.1 is a tenth of a second, and if my photos are on the screen for a tenth of a second apiece, that is going to give me a 10 FPS video. And that's what I want to shoot for, and it's probably what you want to shoot for in iMovie, and I will explain that a little bit later when we're changing our preferences. Now, that is how you change the duration of a single clip, but as you can see, this one is 0.1 seconds long, but these are all still 4 seconds long. So what I could do here is I could drag across all of the photos in my timeline, and I can change the duration of those as well. So I'm going to say 0.1 and enter. Now all of the photos in my timeline are 0.1, which is awesome because I didn't have to go through each one individually. That would be a nightmare, right? But I still have this Ken Burns crop factor going on. To change the Ken Burns crop setting, you come up here to cropping, and as you can see, all of my pictures are defaulted to Ken Burns. Now, if I want to change that, I can do the same thing. I'm going to click and drag over all of my images again, and then I'm going to come up here to cropping, and I want crop to fill. All right, and now if I go back to my timeline and scrub across my photos, you can see they are 0.1 seconds, and they don't have that weird Ken Burns effect on them anymore. That is a good way to change a lot of pictures at the same time. However, there is one really good way, and it is to actually change your iMovie preferences. To do that, I am going to come up here to the iMovie tab, and I am going to click on Preferences. And as you can see, these are our defaults. Photo placement is Ken Burns, so your pictures are going to automatically default to that. Go ahead and select Crop to Fill. Photo duration, we don't want that. We want, say, 0.1 for 10 FPS video. Press enter. That's good to go. So these are the preferences you want to change, right? You want to have crop to fill and your desired photo duration, and that is going to make it so that iMovie does this every time with your photos. And then for photo duration, that's going to be up to you and what FPS you want to shoot for, but I do want to warn you that iMovie, say I wanted to shoot 6 FPS for my videos, right? If I divide 1 second by 6 photos, I am going to end up with 0.166 is my calculation. So that would be for 6 FPS video. So let me type in that 0.166 seconds and press enter. And iMovie is automatically going to bump that to 0.2, which translates to 5 FPS. Now, if I did 0.13, iMovie would round down to 0.1. So beware, iMovie is not going to be able to do 6 FPS video. If we try to do 6 FPS video, it is going to automatically revert to 0.2 seconds for each photo's duration, and that is going to be 5 FPS. And remember, 5 FPS is just outside of that 6 to 12 FPS range that we want to shoot for. So my suggestion, if you're using iMovie, is to shoot for 10 FPS. That 5 FPS is getting to that dangerous point where you might be starting to get a little choppy with your animation. So try for 10 if you can. 5 could probably look okay. It's not going to quite look as good as 6, and 6 to 10, 6 to 12 is really where we want to live. So now that I've changed my iMovie preferences, I can just click that exit button. And let's go ahead and delete all of these photos from my timeline, and we can see how that changed things. So I still have all these photos selected in my media tab up here. I'm just going to click and drag those photos in, and now you can see iMovie is putting those in at 0.1 seconds, and they are not doing the Ken Burns crop. They are all crop to fill. That's the best way to do this and streamline your workflow, right? Is to just change your iMovie preferences to those settings. Now that I have all these in my timeline, I'm going to show you how to rearrange them. So these are all in the order that I want them right now, but say I wanted this section, this camera angle, to happen first, right? I'm going to drag over all these images with that camera angle, and now they are selected. And to change that position, I can just click and drag, and I'm going to drag it all the way over, and I'm going to drop them out front. All right, now these are before that previous camera angle. That's how you move multiple photos into different spots. Now, since all of my camera angles are in order and good to go, I'm going to go ahead and press Command Z or undo and leave that the way that it was. Now let's talk about putting some audio in your video. Audio is really easy to add, so I want this night ambient soundscape. I'm just going to click on it and drag it, and there we go. It's in there, and you should be able to hear it. So that's how you toss any audio into your videos. I do want to show you this as well. This audio is attached to this frame. So if I were to move this frame out of its place, that audio is moving with it. Now, obviously, I don't want to do that because that means my characters are moving backwards. But keep that in mind if you're moving the frame that is attached to your audio, right? I'll press Command Z and undo that. Now everything is in order again. So those are the basics of moving things around and putting audio and photos into your project. But now I want to show you guys really quick. After adding my audio, my video is 1 minute and 44 seconds long instead of the 13 that my pictures last. So I am going to come over here and just hover over the edge of my clip, and I can drag it all the way back to, let's do 13 seconds. So as you can see, I moved that a little bit too far. I'm going to click and drag it out to here. And there we go. So now my audio matches up with my pictures here, and my video is back to 12 seconds long. Another quick thing I want to show you with audio is increasing or decreasing volume. This little bar is going to allow you to drop the level of your audio or raise it. So you can go up to 400%. I do not suggest that. Or you could go to 0%, whatever works. So say your dialogue you bring in is a little bit loud. You can drop it to like 40 or 50% and play back your video until it sounds right to you. So we'll leave this at 100%. Another quick trick with audio, this little button here, this little slider, I can drag this out, and that is going to give my audio a fade out. And if I put my playhead back here and press the space bar to play it, you'll hear a fade out now at the end of my video. Really quick one. If I want to extend that, I just drag it further out, and as you can see, now my fade out is going to last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames, which is going to be a full second, and now it should sound a little bit cleaner. Yeah, that's better. Scroll to the front of the video. You can always fade your audio in as well. So those buttons are on each side of all of your audio tracks. Now, once you're happy with your edit, you want to export your video. So I am going to come up to File, Share, and I want to share a file. I don't want any of this other stuff. I'm going to save it as a file, and I can pick the settings for my file. If I click that, my export window is going to pop up. As you can see, my video is going to be 12 seconds long, which makes sense, right? We have a 10 FPS video and 120 photos. If you divide 120 by 10 FPS, you're going to get 12 seconds of video, okay? And then this is my estimated file size, 30.4 megabytes. And over here are all the settings that we can change about our video, and we can name our video, etc. Now I'm going to back out of this really quick and show you, you can save this project. If you come up to projects, return to projects, you can actually name this project whatever you want. So I'm going to name this project Silent Night, and now it's going to save my project as its own separate project, right? So I can click on that and I'm right back where I was. So now we're going to export again, and I'm going to make sure that my window down here, my timeline is selected. I'm going to go up to File, Share, File, and there we go. Our project name automatically populates. I'm just going to call it Silent Night. This is fine. This video is about Silent Night 2. Let's say this is a stop motion video. Tags, whatever you like, that's up to you. I don't ever change anything here. Format, we want video and audio. Obviously, if we export audio only, it's not going to be a video. Resolution 1080p is perfectly fine for me. High quality, and compressing is faster. That's fine. So you could do better quality if you really wanted, but keep in mind, the higher quality you go, the longer it's going to take to upload. Now, with a short video, that doesn't matter much, but if you're making a full-length feature film, it's going to take a long time to get to YouTube. So, once I have all of my settings set the way I want them, I'm going to click Next, and it's going to ask me where I want to save my video. So, I will save this video to my desktop. You can rename it right here. That's fine with me. I'll name it Silent Night, and I'm going to press Save. And as you can see, it's going to pop up here, and I can show this activity, and it says, I am exporting Silent Night, and it's going to give us a little pie chart to show us the progress on our export. Now, once our export is done, our computer should tell us that its exporting was successful, and we will have that file on our desktop. And there it is, share successful. I'll go ahead and close this. If I exit iMovie, it will automatically save all of my stuff, which is one fun benefit about iMovie is it's just going to constantly save your stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. So I'll exit, and as you can see, our exported Silent Night video is on our desktop now, and if I go ahead and play it, we have a legit video. And there's the fade out, and that's it. Now, I want to show you guys a trick that I use in all of my stop motion editing projects. So I'm going to open up iMovie again, and here is our Silent Night project. I want to show you guys how to use transitions in your videos, but iMovie is not going to let you use transitions with pictures, okay? So I'm going to give you an example of this. I have my first photo selected. I'm going to come up here to my Transitions tab, and here are all my transitions, and if I scrub across the transition, it's going to show me what each transition does, right? So say I want to fade to black, or you know what, we'll cross dissolve for this first shot. We want to come up from black into our video. I'll try and add this to my picture, and if I scrub to the very front and press the spacebar to play this, you can see that nothing happened, right? There is no cross dissolve happening across this first photo. And that is because transitions are not going to work on photos. So this is my trick for you guys, and I do this in any program that I am editing stop motion in. Once I have all of my photos in the right order for a sequence, and I'm done editing them, I actually am going to export a video of those pictures without any sound. And I'm going to do this for every sequence that I create. So I'm going to click on this audio, this night ambience in our background, and I'm just going to delete that with the delete button. And now I have a silent movie, right? We got no sound underneath our movie. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually export this silent movie, and I'm going to name it whatever that scene, that specific scene is. So we'll call this one Over the Wall, just like we did in our organizing. And I'm going to go ahead and export that. And it's going to go to our desktop as well. Now, this is why I'm doing this. You're going to turn these pictures into a video, obviously. And if you import that video into iMovie, you'll now be able to add transitions, which is sweet. And I do this with all of my sequences, like I said, guys, because at the end of your project, you'll have all of these sequences that have already been turned into videos. As you can see, my export went through right there, so I'm going to close this. And if I minimize iMovie, I have my over-the-wall sequence, right? This is the one we just exported that has no sound. So I'm going to go back into iMovie, and I want to import media. Now I save that to my desktop, so I'll go to desktop, and I want the over-the-wall movie. Import selected. And now if we scroll to the bottom, there is our 12-second video. You can see it's a video. I'm scrubbing through it and it's moving. These pictures all have that little photo icon, that little camera icon, and the video does not. So here's our video that we just brought in. And now I'm going to delete this entire timeline of photos. So I'll drag across all my photos in this timeline and press delete. You can also right-click on one and say cut. Now that they're all deleted, I want to drag this video into my timeline, just like we did with the photos before, right? But now we have a full-on video. And now if I go to transitions, I can add transitions. So if I want to fade to black at the end of my video, drag a fade to black over here, Toss it there. And now if we play this, our video is going to fade to black at the end. The same is true if I wanted to add a cross dissolve at the beginning, fade up from black. Anything that's not a video is going to be black. So as you can see, now we are fading up from black. If I bring my playhead all the way to the front and press play, fade up from black. All the action happens on screen. He hides behind the car and we fade out. This sequence is going to be in the middle of a bunch of other sequences, right? It'll be in between a bunch of other videos. So we don't necessarily need these transitions, but I wanted to show you that you can use transitions once you've converted your photos to video. So I'll delete that and that. And now I don't have any transitions on my video anymore because we're going to assume there'd be a video on this side and a video on this side. If you use this process with all of your sequences, you're gonna end up with a bunch of short, silent stop motion videos. And what you can do is import those videos into your iMovie project like we just did with this one, and then move all of those videos into your timeline, grab them, drag them around to rearrange them in the order that they go in for your story, right? And then once they're all in order, you can add sound after the fact. So your whole video is going to be laid out on your timeline, and all you have to do is go through the video and put sound effects in where they go. I can drag my night ambience into my video, and since it's way longer than my video is, I'm going to drag it all the way back here to shorten it. Shorten or extend it, whatever. There, it's going to snap to the end of my video, and I can do all of the other stuff that I want to do. So I can go ahead and make these nice audio transitions, the fade in and the fade out. If I have a gunshot that's happening somewhere, I'll have my silenced gunshot here, and I can drag that in and say I want it to happen right here. If I move my playhead here and press the space bar, there it is. After I was done organizing all my videos and adding sound to my video, I would go ahead and export my final video just like we did the other ones. This would be Silent Night, but I would name it Silent Night Final. Say something about it. And here is all of our info, just like normal. Next, and export, right? So that's how I do this, guys. I export all of those silent short sequences as I go, and then bring them all in together at the end and add my audio, my dialogue, sound effects, all of that good stuff, transitions. You can do it all after the fact once you've transferred all your photos to video sequences.